Hello guys, welcome to IB360. In this video we are going to represent a vector. So if you haven't watched what are vectors, that is our previous video, there will be a link popping above. Do click that video, watch that video, then come to this video, your concepts will be cleared. So with that said, let's just get started. So we represent a vector in this manner, right? We have discussed in the previous videos also. We represent a vector in this manner, okay? So this part, that is the arrowhead, that means this triangle is actually known as the arrowhead, right? Is actually known as the arrowhead, and the other part that is popping out of the arrowhead, that means this part is actually called the tail, okay? So the length of the vector represents the magnitude of the vector, right? So that means the length of the vector, more specifically the length of the tail, okay? So that means, see, the tail is starting from this point, right, and it's ending in this point, right? So what is the length of the tail? This is the length of the tail, right? So that means the length of the tail the length of the tail is actually the magnitude of the vector. So the magnitude of the vector is represented by the length of the tail, okay? And what is the second point? The arrowhead of the vector represents the direction of the vector. See, the arrowhead is pointing in which direction, right? So see, this is north, this is south, this is east, and this is west, right? So the arrowhead is pointing in this direction, right? And what is this direction? This direction is east, right? So this direction is east. So if the arrowhead be pointing like this, so this will be pointing towards the north, right? So in this manner, the direction in which the arrowhead points is actually the direction of the vector, okay? So let's just go to the next slide. So today we are going to represent this vector, okay? So a man walks 20 meters towards the north. So first of all, we need to know about the direction. So this is north, this is south, right? This is east, and this is west, right? So a man walks 20 meters. So that means the length of the tail of the vector will be 20 meters, right? So suppose the man starts from this A point and it goes to this B point, right? So that means this will be the length of the path traveled by the man, which is nothing but 20 meters, right? And 20 meters is the magnitude, right? So that means this length will be the length of the tail. So this will be the tail of the vector, right? And in which direction is the man going? The man is going in the north direction, right? So the arrowhead will be pointing towards the north, right? So that means this will be the entire vector. See, the length of the vector is specifying the magnitude from point A to point B. That is the length of the tail, which is how much? 20 meters. And arrowhead is pointing in the direction in which the man went, that is towards the north, okay? So this will be our entire vector. So proceeding on to the next example, a man walks 14 meters towards the east, okay? So that means again, this is north, right? This is south, this is east, this is west. So a man is walking. So suppose the man starts at point A, and it walks 14 meters towards the east. So this means, suppose this is 14 meters and he reached point B, okay? So that means the magnitude will be 14 meters. The vector's magnitude is 14 meters. So the length of the tail of the vector will be 14 meters. So this will be the length of the tail of the vector from point A to point B, okay? So my bad, okay? So in which direction is the man going? The man is going towards the east, right? So in which direction will be the arrowhead be? In the east direction, right? So the arrowhead will be like this. So over here, this will be the arrowhead, right? So that means this will be our entire vector, okay? Proceeding on to the next example, a man walks 20 meters towards northeast. Again, see, my bad. So see, this is north, this is south, this is east, and this is west, right? So northeast is actually in between the north and the east. So northeast is in this manner, right? So this is northeast, and northeast is at an angle 45 degree from the east. Okay, so that means, see, the man is starting from point A and it's walking how much? 20 meter, right? So that means the length of the tail of the vector, that means from A to B, the distance will be how much? From the A to B, the length of the path will be how much? 20 meter. So this will be 20 meter. Again, in which direction will be the arrowhead pointing? In the northeast direction. So that means it will pointing like this. So this will point in this manner, right? So that means the arrowhead will be in the northeast direction. So that means this will be our vector. So that means that length of the tail of the vector from this point to this point is satisfying how much? 20 meter, which is the magnitude of the vector, and the arrowhead, it's pointing towards the northeast, in which the direction in which the man went. Okay. So proceeding on to the next example. So a man walks 20 meter towards southeast. Okay, so again this is north, this is south. First of all, draw the direction. This is east and this is west. So where will be southeast? In between south and east. So southeast will be in this direction, right? So this will be your southeast, and southeast will make an angle 45 degree with the east. So that means, see, the particle, that means the man starts at point A, it moves how much? 20 meters. So 20 meter will be the length of the tail. So that means this will be from A to B. So this is 14 meter, right? So this is how much? 20 meter, which will be the length of the tail of the vector, right? So that means this will be the tail of the vector. This will be the tail of the vector. And in which direction is the man going? In this direction, right? So that means the arrowhead will be pointing towards the southeast direction. Southeast direction. So this will be the entire vector. Okay, so proceeding on to the final example. A force of 10 Newton acts in the west direction. Okay, so there is a 10 Newton force acting in the west direction. Okay, so that means, suppose this is north, right? This is south, this is east, and this is west, right? So that means the length of the tail of the vector will be how much? 10 newtons, right? So that means, so suppose this is point A and this is point B. So suppose this length, that is the length of the tail, this length is how much? 10 Newton. So suppose this length will be your 10 Newton. Okay, so that means this will be the tail of the vector, right? So from point A to point B will be the tail of the vector. Okay, now in which direction is the force acting? In the west direction, that means in this direction. So the arrowhead will be pointing towards the west, right? So this will be the representation of the vector. So these are very easy examples. I hope you got the gist. Next we will be coming with more and more examples and more and more problems on vectors, more and more theories on vectors. So do subscribe, hit the bell icon, stay safe, and thank you for watching this video.